somebody must have taught them. And this somebody must have been an extraterrestrial.
He witnessed a 14-foot, 10-inch skeleton. All of these have now disappeared.
Such an exciting event to be at.
I walked into the venue and I was completely surprised.
There's an endless list of great people with brilliant research who've spent years studying things that are not in the mainstream media.
And this is what was on the computer, that picture.
So here's a modern-day story about the inner Earth.
They were not only interplanetary, but they were also an intergalactic civilization.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I asked before, please remain in your seats. We have an exciting announcement to make. Every year, Awakening Expo acknowledges personalities whose body of work have made a significant contribution in the fields that are beyond the mainstream arena. In 2016, Mr. Eric von Daniken was the first recipient of the Stellar Citizen Award. In 2017, Linda Moulton Howe received the award in the Women in Journalism category, followed by Paola Harris in 2018 for the same category. In 2019, Richard Dolan received the award for his contribution to the field of UFO research. And this year's Stellar Citizen Award recipient will be announced by the same person who presented the very first Stellar Citizen Award back in 2016 at BAFTA's historic Princess Anne Theatre in London to none other than Mr. Eric von Daniken. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage a Swiss-born writer, you're guessing it already, aren't you, ufologist, television presenter and producer, best known for his appearance on the television series Ancient Aliens, Mr. Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Thanks very much. Good evening. Some bright lights right here. Hello, Blackpool. Do you know how to greet a two-headed alien? Hello, hello. And do you know how you can tell when a mummy gets stressed out? They get unraveled. And what do Kermit the Frog, Alexander the Great, and Jabba the Hutt have in common? They share the same middle name. Anyway, they always say start with a joke. So this is my first time presenting anything in England. I've been to your country dozens of times. It's one of my favorite places on earth. You have amazing energy here. That's why all the standing stones are here. And Blackpool will forever be one of my favorite places in England. I am very happy to be here. I've never seen steps leading into the water for an entire beach. It's wonderful. Now, we're all here tonight to celebrate achievements, and 5 years ago, I gave the award to my mentor and my oldest friends, Eric von Daniken, and it was one of the greatest honors that was bestowed on me, and I'm so happy to do the same thing. Now, for this, I'd like to read something. Every once in a while, an inspiring story comes along where a seed takes root on impoverished soil, and by sheer force, energy, and determination, this seed fights against all the odds and grows strong and tall and decides to reach for the stars and succeeds. Tonight, we are going to celebrate the triumph of a person who has gone against all the odds, and he has done this with sheer willpower, determination, hard work, and most importantly, self-realization. Tonight, we are going to celebrate the accomplishments of an individual who has fought this battle successfully and then turned around to help and inspire others, especially those who face or who have faced similar challenges. As a young child, growing up in a severely poor and dangerous neighborhood, he had to stand by the front door in order to protect his even younger siblings from the criminal activity surrounding their home. They sometimes slept on the floor to avoid gunshots that occasionally would shatter their windows. Already at that early age, he knew that things needed to change. So at age 7, he created that change, and the first glimpses of a lifelong entrepreneur began to emerge and shimmer through. He went from door to door at age 7, selling his beloved toys in order to contribute money to his family, and from time to time, to treat himself to one of the earliest loves of his life, a tub of Bazooka bubblegum ice cream. This entrepreneurship emerged out of his deep desire and appreciation of and for philanthropy, the helping of others, which he clearly already cherished and was hardwired with as a child and has held true ever since. Inspired by this first success, he moved on to selling other items around the neighborhood. Starting out modestly with cinnamon sticks, he gradually raised enough capital to acquire and also sell car radios, which he'd install himself in the driveway, of course, for an additional fee. He was now 13 years old and making more money than his parents. But there was one more thing that he was determined to do: to move away from the poor conditions in which they lived. So he decided to enter a competition. The first prize was a decent home, one with water and with electricity. And guess what? He won. At last, through his efforts of doing something and inner mind-eye manifestation and a little assistance from above, things improved for the family. He increased his efforts of doing something throughout the years in remarkable examples. For example, after Hurricane Maria struck the Caribbean in 2017, through his tireless entrepreneurial efforts, he raised around $60,000 to help devastated communities. 2 years later, this glowing entrepreneur started a foundation to improve the lives of underprivileged folk who, weary with the world's endless struggles, are now given hope and the opportunity to grow strong and tall also. So, who is this remarkable individual who has changed so many lives around the globe? Apart from his desire to see the world become a more fair and sustainable place for the less fortunate, why are we here at Awakening Expo pleased to celebrate his endeavors today? Well, as a young child, he'd often sit out on the steps of the building where they lived to watch the planes flying overhead, imagining far places and the lives of those who didn't have to shower by using a hose they borrowed from a neighbor. And one day, when he was 7 years old, sitting on the steps, he looked up and saw a strange craft performing odd maneuvers, totally unlike anything he'd seen before. Knowing perfectly well how normal planes fly across the sky, he ran inside as fast as the wind and told his mom what he had just seen, bursting with excitement. Her reply, that was a UFO with intelligent beings inside visiting from other worlds. And she continued what she was doing as if nothing had just happened. Now, this story is remarkable because this story turned a switch. In this this one experience, along with the assuring words of his mother, planted the seed that has led him to a lifetime of research into the same topics we are all here to passionately discuss this weekend. And in this particular case, this eyewitness experience led him to a lifelong dedication of exploring the unknown, a dedication which culminated in a deep knowledge and understanding of various topics which he has gathered over decades, looking beyond the accepted truth. Pulling back the curtains and asking the awkward questions and sharing it with the world. He has succeeded in doing this through his best-selling books and TV appearances, including as the expert host on 2 of Gaia's most successful programs, Ancient Civilizations and Deep Space, a series that explores the strange possibility of an unknown space program with extraordinary technologies and societal implications. Now, I know by now, I think we should all know that you've guessed that who I'm speaking about, but here is one final clue just in case.
My theories that I wrote about all these years have just now been verified because the science
The sun is in a binary star.
We're in a binary star system.
Companionship with another star.
It's been verified now. Thoth was one of the original Atlanteans. He's the son of Enki. And after they fled, after the Great Flood, they fled to a safe location, not on this planet. Neanderthal, who was thought now currently to be a lower IQ than a human, some scientists are now coming forward saying, wait a minute, there are very interesting parallels with the story of the Sumerian origin of modern humanity and what we see in modern dialogues about AI. Even though he had already went on several space flights and was a national hero. So there's definitely something going on there behind the scenes, because even Gus Grisham's family, for many, many years after, had contacted NASA and really wanted to get answers as to exactly what happened, and they never did. They never got clarification, they never got closure. It kind of seems as if they're monitoring us and watching us and waiting for us to develop and grow as a species, grow into this higher level of consciousness that they can integrate with better. When you understand as above, so below, you really begin to realize that there's so much more grand things going on out there in the universe, and we're actually a part of it. We're directly connected to it. I am so impressed with your work and your research. It was a pleasure. Eric Von Daniken, best-selling author, Chariots of the Gods. If you don't know who he is, I mean, come on. He's like the grandfather of all this, or the great-grandfather, really, of all of this.
honor and absolute deep pleasure to give the 2022 Stellar Citizen Award in Philanthropy and Education to none other, the one and only Dr. Billy Carson. Big round of applause.
Thank you so much.
I am so proud of you. You have no idea. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys got me good.
That's a good secret, huh?
That's a good secret.
So if you'd like to address the audience for a moment.
Yeah. Wow. Whew, this was totally unexpected. Wow. You know, there was so much in that video. Shout out to whoever put that together. It was just so much. I'm pretty sure it took a lot of people to get all that information together in one place. I'm just so overwhelmed right now because, you know, one of the things that you do in this field is you work and you work and you work, and there's very little recognition that you can get. I mean, well, people buy your books and shake your hands and take pictures and things like that, and they tell you how much they appreciate you. I mean, that's the fact. But overall, on the big scale of things, you don't look for it. You don't even expect that it would even happen. And so, and then, you know, sometimes you go on this long path, this journey we call life, and the path that I've been on has been a path of giving and helping and assisting and living in this abundance mindset and trying to help as many people as I could. Sometimes I gave away a little bit too much, I'm not gonna lie. But living in that mindset that no matter what I do, my needs will always be met. So I never cared about it, I never worried about what was gonna happen because I always felt that because I'm doing the right thing, I'm impacting lives and I'm making a better world. I'm taking part in helping to make a better world and my needs will be met. And so when you live on that path, you know, one of the things you never will look for is, you know, one of these or a recognition on this level. And so it's an absolute honor and a pleasure. And I wanna thank Gaia, Vitaly, Giorgio, Steve, everyone that helped put this together, my sister, Elizabeth, and of course, everyone out there, all the fans, all the people that support, that have been watching my videos, my lives, sharing my information, subscribing to my network, you know, buying my products and buying my books and everything else, because without me, there is actually no you. And, you know, like I said earlier, I waited for decades to get to the point where I can share information. I mean, imagine living in the 70s and learning a lot of this stuff. And then there's no internet, there's no cable TV, you know, there's no cell phones, no beepers, there's nothing. And so you walk around with all this in your head, and all you could focus on, all I focused on was, well, how can I help people for right now? How can I help myself and help others? And then I got to the point where, like the Hopi said, the world will be connected by a web. And that web came, and when the web came, I was ready. And we expanded now, and it's global. And so I just want to thank every single person for being a part of this. And my motto has always been changing the world one click at a time. But it's not just me, it's all because of you guys as well. So thank you so much.
And that was incredible.
Thank you, man.
Now, we have, I'd like to ask your partner, Liz, to come on stage, and also your sister, Maria, who has flown in all the way from Germany, especially for you tonight. Yeah. So I'm sure that they have something to say as well.
Oh, oh thank you. Thank you. You guys got me good here. First, they surprised me with my sister showing up. First, they surprised me with my sister showing up in town to come to this event, which I've never seen her at. And this is probably her first event, I believe, right? Yeah. And then, you know, it's impacted me in a way you couldn't even understand. Because, you know, as growing up, we had a very, obviously, as you can see, a dysfunctional household, and we didn't get to participate in a lot of each other's great things that have happened. And so for my sister to be here, it just adds another sweetness to this that I can't even describe to you, you know. So thank you so much, Maria. I love you. And thanks for being a part of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Billy Carson, founder of Forbidden Knowledge. A big round of applause.